Hi everyone, welcome to ForTheGeeks. In this video, I'm going to show you some extensions, Visual Studio Code extensions that I normally use that helps my productivity and improves my development experience as it reduces the monotonous work that I have to do. One thing these extensions do is that it ensures that you don't have to leave your IDE and go to browser. So that makes you more focused because you just stay on the IDE itself. That's what I feel. Maybe each extension just saves a bit of time, but over a period of time, these all adds up and helps you improve your productivity. So let's see all these extensions now. So the first one is a live server extension. So I have this HTML file, and if I want to see how it looks on the browser, I have to go to the file explorer and launch it in the browser. That does work, but an easier way is to install a live server extension. What you can do is go to the extensions tab on your Visual Studio Code and look for live server. In here, I install this one, Ritvik Day, I guess. And then you will see this live server on the bottom right corner, and when you launch it, just follow the prompts and you should see the HTML file in the browser. Next extension that we will see is Prettier. It's a very useful extension. It makes, as the name suggests, your code prettier because it formats the code. So a formatted code is easy on eyes. It's good for any new developer. They can come and easily read the code and understand it. Even if you come back in future, if the code is readable and formatted, it's much easier than an unformatted code. And Prettier extension is very common, but it's so useful that I couldn't leave it out of this video. So I installed this Prettier plugin, and then I have this HTML file. You can see I have to scroll all the way right. So for Prettier to work, you have to set it up. So in the settings, go to user settings, the formatter settings, and select the default formatter here. So you have this default formatter. I select now Prettier here, and I select this format on save option. You can also format on paste if you want to. I just select the format on save option currently, and then what I do is I just add some text and save it, and immediately it gets formatted automatically. The next extension that I really recommend is Codium AI. So, like you know, AI tools have become widely used after ChatGPT, significantly boosting productivity and aiding in learning new things. There's no doubt about it. Everyone probably is across the AI these days, especially the tech people, right? But the Codium plugin in particular is useful because it allows you to interact with AI directly within your IDE. You can ask code related questions and it will remember the context for you. And all these things can happen without leaving the workspace. This is very useful extension. I highly recommend this. If not this Codium, but any other extension, AI extension that is integrated within the code space itself, within the workspace itself, I would highly recommend that. So let's come back to this. I install this and then just follow the prompts. It will take you to the website. I created the account already and I'm signed in. So once you are signed in and you have launched from your Visual Studio Code, it will ask for the permissions. Just give those permissions, and once it's installed successfully, you can see this Codium AI tab now. And I just give a very small question like, okay, give me a sample HTML file, and it generates the HTML file for me in no time. You can see all the previous conversations here. You can export the chat. You can go to your profile. If you want to open the profile, it will take you to the external website, the Codium AI's website, and it will take you to the profile. You can click on settings. You can see what plan you are in, what the account, the profile, the plan, user settings, all those things in the settings tab. You can explore this extension at your own time. Definitely there will be a lot of things for you to learn. Next extension that I normally use is HTML tag wrap extension. So imagine there is a scenario wherein you have to, that contains wrap part of text inside element span element. So you have to do it manually. But if with this HTML tag wrap extension, what you can do is you can just select the content you want. So in here I just select wrap a text and then press Alt W and then just type in the tag. So I just do a B here, so it quickly wraps the text, the selected text, and puts the tag I want. Next extension that I normally use is Prettify JSON. So we saw the prettier earlier extension. Prettify JSON, as the name suggests, makes your JSON looks better. Let's create a JSON here, which is not formatted. So to prettify this JSON, what you can do is copy it, take it to the browser, open up, and then just format it, and it does what it needs to do. But then again, you have to leave the IDE. Instead of that, you can just install this Prettify JSON. And once you install that, you get the capability to make the JSON look better, format it from the JSON file itself. All you have to do is select the text, open the command palette, and look for Prettify JSON, and it will format your JSON file. The extension that I'm going to show you now, without doubt, is going to be the most useful one, or one of the most useful ones, I would say. This is the Postman extension. So as you know, most of the applications do make API calls, and normally how you test your APIs is through Postman app. But with this Postman extension, you can do and test your APIs from within the VS Code itself. There are some prerequisites you can check that. I installed the Postman extension on my VS Code. You have to just sign in. If you haven't created an account, you need to create one and then sign in. Just follow the prompts. It will pop up a window on your browser asking for permissions. Give those permissions, and once you give the permissions, you will see this tab, Postman tab, on your Visual Studio Code. Like your Postman app, you can create a workspace, you can log in, you can sync your requests, you can invite someone into the workspace. You can even see the histories, like what all API calls you made. I will quickly test it out. I have a fake API running on the typecode.json server. I just put in this URL and do a send, and I get the response back, and all within the IDE itself. What my understanding is that if you have this extension, there is no need of installing the app separately. You can do that, no one is stopping you, but you can test out everything from the IDE itself. Of course, you can sync your request between the app and this extension as long as you are signed in with the same account. One thing to remember is that if you are doing some advanced features like advanced API testing, then you will need to have the Postman agent running. In those scenarios, you have to install the Postman app, but you can still test those APIs from the VS Code extension itself, as long as you have the Postman app installed. I came across this when I was testing an API that required OAuth2 and Pixie. So long story short, if you see a message prompting you to install the Postman agent, simply install the Postman app as well. Next extension that I would recommend you to install is JavaScript code snippets. This extension, as the name suggests, contains snippets for JavaScript in ES6 syntax. So for instance, FRE, and just press a tab, you will get the for each, area.for each. Same way FOR and a tab, FOF and a tab, and it gives you for off loop. Same way if you do FIN and a tab, you get for in loop. Then you can do ANFN, it gives you an asynchronous function. NFN and a tab gives you a named function in ES6 syntax. You can do destructuring, you can do set time interval using STI and a tab, and same way you can do set timeout using STO and a tab. You can do then C tab, which will give you then C with a catch, and then you can also do the promise. I also like the console shortcuts like CLG tab, gives you console log, and there is one for console error, which is CER tab. You can look at the whole shortcuts available in the documentation, but I took you through few. Next useful extension is code runner. So I created a script file, just put in some text, and I add these two variables and put it to the console. So if I have to test it out, either you can have Node installed and then run this file, or you can create an HTML, import this JSON, and then test whether this JavaScript works correctly or not. Another way to do and run your code within the IDE itself is this code runner extension. It can run C, C++, Java, and a few more languages. I used it to run my JavaScript file. So on the file, just press Ctrl-Alt-N, and you can see down below it prints 8. I really found this very useful because I can test out my new JavaScript features within the code IDE itself. Next extension that I'm showing is useful if you use TypeScript code. So imagine there is a sample.cs C# file that is a DTO that the UI consumes, and we need to have an interface for the TypeScript. So I have this person's C# code with a name, age, and email, and I have to create an equivalent TypeScript interface for this. You can very well go to the web and search. For instance, I found this and it generates the TypeScript equivalent TypeScript code for me, and I can use this in my code base. Alternatively, you can do this within the IDE itself using this C# to TypeScript extension. Just install this. Once you install it, you can go to the C# file and select the file content, right click on it, and you can open up the command palette and type in C# to TypeScript to clipboard. So what it does is it will generate the equivalent TypeScript interface for you, and you can just paste it, and then you can see that it has created the interface based on the sample C# file. There are other options too, like you can paste as, replace, or you can even create to file. On the same lines, you can do JSON to TypeScript as well. So if you have a JSON, just right click it, and again on the command palette you can do something similar to what we did here. This time we will say JSON to TypeScript, and it created the file for you. Next thing what I want to show you is this VS Code Insiders. It is another installer that you can use that runs parallelly, or you can say separately, from the normal Visual Studio Code. I had to use this because for this video I had to show you all the extensions, and I already had extensions in my VS Code. Even if I uninstalled it and reinstalled it, the extensions were there. One way to remove the extensions from the VS Code is you have to go to the folder and remove the extensions folder. I didn't want to do that, so I just installed this VS Code Insiders that gave me a fresh copy, and then I just installed all the extensions again. So these are just nice little trick. If you want to keep something independent of VS Code, you can use this VS Code Insiders, which is a separate installation. Last extension that I want to show you is this code snapshot. As the name suggests, it helps you take the snapshot of your code. So I have this installed, and then what I do is on the command palette I bring this up, code snapshot, right? And then you can see on the right, it allows you to choose the background color. Do you want to show the line numbers in the snapshot? You can adjust the width and all. And then on the left, I just select the text I want to take screenshot of, and then just press on this button. It asks you to save. I had one already with name code snapshot. I save it again, and then I bring it across here. You can see there are line numbers, and it gives you very good quality snapshot. So if you have to share the code with someone, or if you're writing some blog and if you want the snapshots of the code, it's very handy extension to install. So all that for this video, everyone. Hope you guys found these extensions useful and unique, and found my explanation helpful. If you think there are any other extensions that are useful, do leave in the comment box below. I will use them too. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Take care.